Hello and welcome to episode 151 of the HamCorp Training Manual. In this episode, we will progress the Eye of Harmony to 775, allowing us to start generating Universium at long last. We will also scale up antimatter production, compact fusion, and craft all the materials for a stargate. Back once again for the third, fourth, second, I don't even know, episode in a row, Eye of Harmony progression update. This one is a 553, meaning I've upgraded the stabilization field gens to tier 3. I sort of chose to do tier 3 specifically because the stabilization field gens require time dilation and spacetime compression field gens to make, and I already had enough of the tier 3 versions of both of those. And those are just sort of sitting in storage now, so I was like, oh, maybe I should just use them. And I did. So yeah, 553. And now, when I run this recipe with Miranda, with 2 overclocks, it's going to take 1,500 seconds. That's it. That's like 25 minutes. Look at me foaming at the mouth for a 25-minute craft because I think that's fast now. Eye of Harmony. You're a silly boy. Anyway, to progress the Eye of Harmony, tier 6 spacetime compression field gen. And actually, I could make this right now. I already have enough black dwarf matter. No problem at all. But there is a problem, and there is something stopping me from doing this, and that is kind of silly. It's because I started using Stellar Catalyst, so I don't have enough. I don't need much, to be fair, so it should be easy to get this in like an hour or two. So I can run this a couple of times. I'll have a little bit of excess black dwarf matter, which is always also nice. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work on that. Here we go. 653. And in fact, I could make the 753 pretty easily. The only thing stopping me right now is, of all things, condensed raw stellar plasma mixture. So as soon as I have one more successful run of this, I could also make 753. And in fact, at that point, I'll be able to make Universium. And then I can progress finally into UXV, I think. But I think I would also like to upgrade the time dilation and stabilization field gens. So maybe I'll take a look at how much black dwarf matter I have and decide after that. Also, you may notice that my skin is a little different. My arm is different. Indeed, I now have a new skin. Here it is. It's a cat in a suit. It's a specific cat in a suit. It's my cat. His name was the Bungus. I thought about using the pig in a suit, and that was an option, but that already kind of has been used by Phil. So I thought to avoid confusion, it's better for me to make something distinct, and this is what I came up with. Much more thematically appropriate than IQ from Rainbow Six Siege, I think. Now while this goes, I guess I can quickly talk about a few new items. For the tier 7 spacetime field gens, the perfect tier. Yet again, nothing new, just the same shit as always, but more. Except for tier 9 fluid cell blocks, but these are also not that interesting. It's just kind of the same as the tier 8, but it uses tier 9 fluid storage cores, which are also not that interesting. They just use the same stuff that the tier 8 does, but more. Very interesting. Well, look what I got done. 4 slams, all running. And I got the 4 million amp UMV laser source hatches, so the power situation has massively improved. The rendering of the antimatter balls or whatever is a little weird. This is the only one that seems to render correctly. All the other ones are kind of weird. I don't know, shader issues. It'd be like that, I guess. Now, what I did is the setup on each of these is exactly the same. So I've just gone ahead and basically copied exactly the same setup. And none of these 4 SASs shares wireless receiver channels. They're all unique. They're still structured the same way as the first one, but for example, this is 1113. That one is like 2113. And then that one is 3113, and so on. So they're all kind of independent. The only thing that they all rely on is the same supply of inputs. And the failsafe of shutting things off when I don't have enough inputs is the only shared wireless channel across these 4 things. Just because I didn't see the point in making a new subnet for each one, because there's no logic involved in that. It's just storing the fluids. But yeah, this is pretty nice. I've also made some info panel extenders just so I can see the amounts of antimatter contained in each of the sasses without having to fly up to each of them. And I think what I'm going to do is I have this lever here to turn things off. And I have another lever here for kind of emptying out the hatches when things are not running. I think I'm going to turn those into their own wireless channels and just have levers down here so I can turn things off remotely without having to fly up to each one. In an ideal world, I could combine it all into one lever and everything just works on the same subnet, but I don't know, I'm just not confident that that's going to work with my system. So this is the equivalent of about half a quadrillion EU per tick production. That's pretty good. It costs quite a lot of energy to make this, so I really need to start burning the antimatter as well. And now my slams, each one is 512k. So that's 4 to the 0.03 times better than what I was doing before, which is a weird number, but it is better, so that's good. It's also faster. I can burn it more quickly. Because the cycle time here, I thought it was 1 tick. It's not. It's about 5 seconds or 2 seconds. I don't remember. It's some number of seconds. But cool. Power situation is good. Currently stuck crafting this exotic time dilation field gen, which I'm going to just scan immediately so I can make the perfect ones. And I also have everything I need to make the perfect space-time compression field gens. So there's nothing to do but wait. I guess I can upgrade my advanced assembly line voltages, but that's about it. There's not much I can do right now. And I'm back with the tier 7 space-time field gens. Now, I could also make the tier 7 time dilation field gens, but I'm missing just a little bit of black dwarf matter. So while I have unlocked Universium at this point, I could get some. I think I want to upgrade my Eye of Harmony before I do that. So I'm going to quickly grind out a little bit more black dwarf matter, swap out these time dilation field gens. And once I do that, I'll actually have enough superb time dilation field gens and space-time field gens in storage to upgrade the stabilization ones to superb as well. And I may as well, like, why not? So I'm gonna do all of that, and then we can continue on with Universium. I've upgraded my advanced assembly lines to use 4096 amps of UMV, up from 256. And I've thought a little bit more about laser overclocks. And my god, do they suck. They are so expensive. So laser overclocks, if you don't remember, are the type of overclocks that advanced assembly lines get. And a normal overclock reduces recipe time by 50% and multiplies the power by 4, right? For each overclock. But laser overclocks reduce the recipe time by 50%, which is the same, but it multiplies the power by 4 plus 0.3 times the total number of laser overclocks. That is much worse because the change in the power cost depends on the number of overclocks, which is sort of factorial, but this is bad. This is really, really bad. To give you a sense of scale, if I do 3 normal overclocks, the power cost goes up by 4 to the 3. But if I do 3 laser overclocks, the power goes up by 4.3 times 4.6 times 4.9. which is 96 times the original power instead of 64 times the original power. And it just gets worse. The more overclocks you have, the worse that gets. So I need to be a little bit cautious with how much power I assign to these advanced assembly lines, because it is absolutely better to just make more than to overclock further. More so than for other multi-blocks even. Anyway, as far as the Eye of Harmony goes, I now have a 775. Tier 7 spacetime, Tier 7 time dilation, and Tier 5 stabilization. This means I can do Universium, finally. And I've already made a planet for it. I decided to go with Kuiper Belt, because why not? And here's something interesting. The EU output is greater than the EU input. This profits power, if I don't overclock it. And I think I will just be running this all the time without overclocks. But when I'm actually trying to progress, like right now, I will use a few overclocks and rely on antimatter. So let's get this going. Kuiper Belt goes in. The hydrogen and helium is being pumped into the input hatches. I can't wait to make the humongous input hatches. This is actually starting to take a while, literally just to empty these storage cells. I think I can do that pretty soon. But I am about to get some Universium after a little bit of a wait. Specifically, with this setup, it's not going to be that much of a wait with 2 overclocks. It's actually only going to be about 12 minutes of waiting for this recipe. The problem is, the recipe has a success chance of only 29.5%, so I'm probably gonna have to run this like 3 or 4 times, realistically, to get a successful output. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. The rate of Universium is pretty bad. Once I have Universium, I will need one more thing to continue, that thing being molten magmatter. And molten magmatter is also a little bit annoying to me right now, because it needs me to finish the entirety of the Godforge progression. And George here is nowhere close to done. I still have another 5 upgrades to go. And I can't even buy the next one. I'm so close. I'm off by 1. That's painful. This also needs 2 Mega Ultimate batteries. I've done the research for them. I've encoded the recipe. But this is gonna hurt. This is gonna be a little expensive. Luckily, it's just a one-time cost, so that's fine. I've been trying not to just, smelt stuff and then break it down and then smelt it again, because that feels a bit cheesy, but at this point I think I need to do that, because otherwise it's just going to take so long to max out the Forge of the Gods here. That said, I don't actually need Magmatter to progress into UXV. Well, I do realistically to make like parts and stuff, but just to enter this tab of endgame goals, I don't need it. I just need to get some Universium, and then I can make magneto-hydrodynamically constrained star matter. That super long meme name that is very annoying to say. To make this stuff though, I'm gonna need tons and tons of condensed raw stellar plasma mixture, also Universium nanites and Eternity nanites, ideally, but I don't think I can make these just yet, so I'll have to make the black dwarf and white dwarf matter nanites. Universium nanites are of course made in a nanoforge, 750 seconds, so I need to spam a few nanoforges. It's also going to need blocks of Universium, so I need quite a bit of Universium here. Some optical parts, high computation, Mark V final type, affinity spacetime, and liquid primordial matter. This stuff is made in a TPM with spatially enlarged fluid, spacetime, DT residue, and more condensed raw stellar plasma mixture. This is actually not so bad. White and black dwarf matters have very similar recipes. I think the only difference is the fluid. This one uses tachyon, the other uses spatial, and of course the blocks of matter. So I think, honestly, I think I need to make 2 more Eyes of Harmony so that I can make black dwarf matter and white dwarf matter in parallel to the Universium. Oh man. Alright. Things are getting comically expensive. And this is just the beginning of the comically expensive era, I think. I think everything so far, in comparison to this, I dare say has been reasonable. Which is absurd. Well, time to make more Eyes of Harmony. And maybe also find a nice way to put them into a building of some kind, because this is just sort of lawn-based right now. Alright. More AFK, more crafting, more scaling. May the shareholders guide us. Actually, I thought of a much more fun way to progress the Godforge. Making stargates. The historical ones. I've taken a look at this UHV stargate, and honestly, this is nothing. This is super easy to me at this point. I could do this really quickly, and it would be a little bit of Gorge progress, and just a little trophy to show off, because why not, I guess. It's not that bad. That way I can make a clickbaity title. Oh my god, I totally forgot about these. I made 4 more compact fusions, and I just never placed them. Haha. Well, the funny thing is, I'm not sure I totally need these. I'm glad I have them because I will need them. But for right now, I've noticed that when I do have convergence on for a long time, I do supervise it, but when I do have it on for a long time, my exotic catalyst generation is actually able to keep up with what I have. So the compact fusions I've made are kind of overkill. I'm still going to set them up, of course, because more is better. But I was surprised to see that I could run convergence all the time. The real problem actually is infinity catalyst. I don't make that fast enough, which is funny. This should be easy to make though. I could do it in an implosion compressor. I am kind of made of money right now. Or I could do it in a black hole containment field. I don't know, there's okay, definitely not this recipe. But yeah, I could easily scale this up. So convergence is on the menu. Regardless, for this UHV Stargate, the 2.1 Stargate, this is not that bad. I just need some bismuth, which I'm mining right now. Chlorine, I'm just capped by my capacity. And dolomite, which I'm centrifuging, but it should be very easy to get more. I could just request it. It's not that big of an achievement. Well, I say that with technology from years in the future compared to when 2.1 actually was. So it's not really a fair comparison. It must have been monumental back in the day because of so many things that just didn't exist back then. That's crazy to even think about. I'm pretty sure even Lapatronic supercapacitors might not have existed back then. I don't know. I'm not totally sure. That was long before when I picked up GTNH. So let's put down these compacts and get my first Stargate, question mark. I'm gonna milk that for clickbait. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. Whoa. First Stargate. Sort of. I'm gonna start submitting these. And here we go. Here is the first Stargate. The 2.1 Stargate. And let's get the trophy. And let's put it on the desk. Cool. Thank you for watching this episode of the HamCorp Training Manual. In the next episode, we will craft our first magnetohydrodynamically constrained star matter, our first Eternity, and enter UXV. Perhaps we will craft more historical stargates for the sake of Godforge progression. See you next time.